Hey there, today I'm diving into the twisted and shocking history of Volkswagen, a company that went from being Hitler's pet project to one of the biggest auto giants in the world. Buckle up, because this ride is anything but smooth. Volkswagen's sinister beginnings. When you think of Volkswagen, you probably picture the iconic Beetle or the funky VW bus, but behind these beloved car designs lies a story so dark and twisted it's almost hard to believe. Volkswagen's tale begins in the aftermath of World War I. Germany's economy was in shambles, weighed down by massive reparations payments to other European countries, a whopping 132 billion gold marks, which is over 500 billion in today's money. As you can imagine, this left the German economy extremely volatile during the 1920s. Enter Adolf Hitler. By 1933, the Nazi Party had seized control, and Hitler promised to restore Germany's economy to its former glory. Part of his plan was to make Germany completely self-sufficient. One way he aimed to do this was by building the Autobahn, a massive highway network that would connect German cities. But there was a catch. There were no cars to fill these shiny new roads. Cars were a luxury that most working-class Germans couldn't afford. To change this, Hitler dreamed of a people's car, in German, a Volkswagen. He envisioned a small, affordable car that could fit a family, was fuel efficient, and could zip along at 100 km/h on the Autobahn. To bring this vision to life, he enlisted Ferdinand Porsche, a titan of the car industry. Porsche had already designed some of Germany's most iconic cars, so he was the perfect candidate for the job, building the people's car. Hitler's dream car, the KDF Wagen, was meant to be a symbol of strength through joy. Priced at 990 Reichsmarks, about $6,000 today, it was marketed to the German public as an affordable, family-friendly vehicle. However, the Volkswagen factory wasn't ready to churn out cars just yet. So, the Nazis came up with a savings booklet scheme where citizens could pay 5 Reichsmarks a week until they reached the full price. Over 300,000 Germans signed up, but none of them ever got their Volkswagen. Why? Because in 1939, the Third Reich invaded Poland and World War II began. During the war, the Volkswagen factory in Wolfsburg was repurposed to support the Nazi war effort. Instead of producing the family-friendly KDF wagon, the factory churned out military vehicles. To meet the demand for labor, Volkswagen used prisoners of war and concentration camp inmates. The conditions were horrendous, with tens of thousands of men and women essentially working as slaves. The racial hierarchy of the Nazis extended to the treatment of these workers, with Scandinavians receiving more rations than Poles, Poles more than Russians, and Russians more than Jews. All workers, however, suffered from hunger, cold, and overwork. One of the darkest chapters in Volkswagen's history is the Kinderheim, a nursery for the babies of forced laborers. Instead of sending pregnant women back to their hometowns, the Nazis, at Volkswagen's request, set up these nurseries. The conditions were appalling. Infested with vermin, the Kinderheim was a place of unimaginable cruelty. Babies were neglected, malnourished, and often died from preventable conditions. The death rate was nearly 100%, and those who died were buried in unmarked graves. Volkswagen's complicity in these atrocities is a stain that cannot be erased. Post-war rebuilding. When the war ended, the Volkswagen factory lay in ruins. The British Army, tasked with rebuilding Germany, took over the administration of the factory. Major Ivan Hurst, a 29-year-old British Army officer, saw potential in the wreckage. He realized that rebuilding the factory could provide much-needed jobs and stability to the local population. Hurst's efforts paid off. Despite the challenges of damaged equipment and scarce materials, he managed to restart production. By 1946, the factory had produced its first 10,000 cars, and the iconic VW bus was born. The Beetle, too, became a symbol of Germany's economic recovery. Hurst's work laid the foundation for Volkswagen's post-war success, transforming it from a company with a dark past into a symbol of renewal. The rise of Volkswagen. In the 1950s and 60s, Volkswagen's Beetle and VW bus became global icons. The Beetle in particular was a hit, and by 1972, it became the world's best-selling car. Volkswagen's image underwent a remarkable transformation, from a company born out of Nazi Germany to a symbol of peace and love associated with the counterculture movement. As Volkswagen expanded, it began acquiring other car brands, becoming a powerful conglomerate. In 1964, it bought Auto Union, which included Audi. Later acquisitions included Seat, Skoda, Bentley, Lamborghini, and Bugatti. Volkswagen was on a relentless quest to absorb its competition and solidify its position as a global automotive giant, the Porsche takeover attempt. In the early 2000s, Porsche, one of Volkswagen's oldest partners, attempted a hostile takeover. Porsche, the world's most profitable car manufacturer at the time, began buying Volkswagen shares, eventually owning over 30% of the company. During the 2008 financial crisis, Porsche's investments kept Volkswagen stock stable, despite declining sales. This stability led many investors to believe Volkswagen was overvalued, resulting in a massive short-selling frenzy. Porsche's CEO publicly denied any intention to take over Volkswagen. But behind closed doors, the company was gearing up for control. When Volkswagen's stock plummeted during the financial crisis, Porsche saw its chance. However, their plan backfired. Porsche took on massive debt to buy more shares, but when their final push for control failed, they were left unable to pay back their debts. Volkswagen turned the tables, buying nearly 50% of Porsche's stock and eventually acquiring the entire company in 2012. Dieselgate, the biggest scandal. Just when you thought Volkswagen's history couldn't get any darker, along came Dieselgate. In 2015, it was revealed that Volkswagen had installed software in millions of its diesel cars to cheat emissions tests. These cars emitted up to 40 times the allowed levels of toxic gases when not being tested. The scandal, dubbed Dieselgate, led to a massive fallout. Volkswagen had to recall millions of cars, pay billions in fines, and faced severe damage to its reputation. Despite the scandal, Volkswagen managed to bounce back. Just a year after Dieselgate, it became the world's largest car manufacturer, surpassing Toyota. The company's resilience is a testament to its ability to adapt and overcome even the most significant challenges. Conclusion: a legacy of contradictions. Volkswagen's history is a roller coaster of dark origins, scandalous behavior, and remarkable resilience. From its sinister beginnings under Nazi Germany to its rise as a global automotive giant, Volkswagen's journey is filled with both triumphs and tragedies. While the company has made significant strides in distancing itself from its dark past, the shadow of its origins and the Dieselgate scandal still loom large. As we look at Volkswagen today, it's clear that the company has learned from its mistakes, but its history serves as a reminder of the depths to which it once sank. The story of Volkswagen is a stark illustration of how a company can rise from the darkest of origins to achieve global success, yet still be haunted by the shadows of its past.